What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, guys. I think for me it's the 24th. I know Australia is 15 hours ahead. I believe that's what I heard. I don't know exactly, but when you see this, you should be seeing that it's Anzac Day. If I'm not mistaken, it's the 25th of this month. Let me go back and check. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, my guy Tony said it's the 25th of April of this month. So you may be seeing it on the 25th. You may be seeing it a little earlier then, or you may wake up to this video. But as I did the I was only 19. Now we're doing Anzac Day. What is it? I got a brief. I feel like I got a brief summary of what it is. Paying respect to military in Australia, and I want to say the Vietnam War. But appreciate my guy Tony for sending us, so happy Anzac Day. Show your respects, gotta salute. Let's check it out. Click view, mini clip. Australia celebration and commemoration.
Every year in Australia, we commemorate a very important day in Australian history known as Anzac Day. At this time of the year, you might sometimes bake Anzac biscuits or stand in silence to reflect and remember Anzac soldiers. But do you know who the Anzacs were and why it is important that we commemorate this day? In 1914, the world was in turmoil at the outbreak of World War I. Though Australia and New Zealand were considered young nations, both of these countries came together to help their British allies in the war.
Help.
These soldiers were called Anzacs, which stands for Australia and New Zealand Army Corps.
I always wonder. Australian New Zealand Army Corps. I always wonder why it was called that. Now I know.
On the 25th of April 1915, the Anzacs travelled to a place called the Gallipoli Peninsula to capture the Turkish capital of Istanbul, known then as Constantinople. However, they were met by a fierce defence from Ottoman Turkish soldiers. What they had hoped to be a quick campaign turned out to be 8 months of brutal warfare.
Oh my goodness.
8 months after their arrival, the Anzacs evacuated from Gallipoli, but not before many soldiers had given their life or suffered great injuries. In fact, over 10,000 Anzacs died at the fierce hand of the war at Gallipoli. Upon their return, Australia has commemorated Anzac Day since the 25th of April 1916, 1 year after the Anzacs first arrived at Gallipoli. There are many symbols and emblems that you might recognise on Anzac Day. Let's have a look at a few of them.
You got a little parade and stuff, some
Yum,
biscuits.
an Anzac biscuit. It can be fun to help bake these and even more fun to eat
I wonder what that's made out of. It kind of look good, like a macadamia nut.
around Anzac Day. But it's a bit funny to remember Anzac Day by eating a biscuit, isn't it? Where did they come from? The Anzac biscuit we have today is similar to a type of food many of the Anzac soldiers carried with them. Because they didn't have fridges or shops to get food from, the soldiers needed to eat food that would not go bad over time. Many carried the first Anzac biscuits, which were a substitute for bread. Though they can be a tasty treat, they also help us remember some of the struggles Anzac soldiers went through.
Man, and just thinking about it, like, just being at war for 18 months, you can't really just have a real nice dinner. Those are huge sacrifices right there, man. Definitely got to appreciate it. And just think, I don't know how the ingredients are for the biscuit nowadays, but just imagine what all they had and had to put together for these biscuits, So dang.
Another symbol you might recognize are flowers, such as red poppies or rosemary flowers.
think I have those growing in my yard. Those rosemary.
Red poppies were famously found growing in some of the most brutal locations of World War I, such as northern France and Belgium, after the war had ended. Rosemary flowers symbolize memory and were found scattered throughout the peninsula at Gallipoli. Because these flowers are very symbolic, they are used as a way for us to remember those fallen by war.
Nice.
They can often be
Beautiful
seen being
flower.
laid down in remembrance of fallen soldiers during days such as Anzac Day. The original Anzac Day was significant because not only was it a day to remember and pay respects to the families and friends of those that had died in war, it also played a major part in forming an Australian identity of courage and mateship that is still important today.
That's nice.
Whilst the Anzac legend lives on, soldiers from Australia have defended our country in other wars since World War I. This means that when we commemorate Anzac Day, we remember those that have given their lives in service of our country on other occasions as well. There are many ways Anzac Day is commemorated today. Often people will rise for a dawn service. These services are held at dawn each year because this was the same time Anzac soldiers originally arrived on Gallipoli shores.
Oh, wow.
What are some of the other ways we remember those in our past and present who have committed themselves to the service of our country on Anzac Day?
This is nice. This was nice to know. I know a little bit more now. I know a little bit more. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. But yeah, I think this is very important. Like I said, I don't know the time schedule. I could be on time with this one. But yeah, just remembering those. I'm glad I got to check this out on the day. You know, a special day for my Aussies out there. And it looked like New Zealand. So I'm guessing New Zealand celebrate this day too. Since it's Australia and New Zealand. But you know, shout out to those. If you have relatives that serve during this time, during these moments, if you still, let me know if y'all still celebrate. Y'all eat these biscuits. You know, they look good. They look good, but it just goes to show, like, just the sacrifices people that came before us made, and it's a major impact. So, like, you can never forget who was there before to pave the way. That's why I said in the video, I was only 19. Like, I feel like sometimes we live life, we live comfortable, and sometimes we can take it for granted of what we got, and, you know, and not realize what people before us had to struggle through and go through to get where they are today, and get where we are today. You know, they didn't even get to see this, but they knew one day. You know, Martin Luther King said he had a dream. He didn't get to see the dream, but I mean, look where we are now. So that's what that means, paving the way. So shout out to those that served on Anzac Day. Shout out to you guys for sending this to me. So, but that's all I have. Y'all hit that subscribe button, send down those recommendations, and y'all be blessed, be the best, and be you. I'm out.